Hello guys, welcome to this live stream here with me, Peter Sweden. I thought I wanted to discuss a bit about the rape crisis that's going on in Sweden and discuss a little bit about the figures and so on. There's recently been some pretty bad statistics coming out from Sweden. So I thought I already made a separate video on this. It's already on my YouTube channel. I uploaded it yesterday, showing that 1 in 8 of all Swedish women will be raped during her lifetime. So I thought I just wanted to do a live stream here to discuss the statistics a little more in detail and maybe take any questions from you guys that you might have, because you guys really seem to enjoy these live streams. So I thought I want to do a little bit more to get some more interaction with you guys in this live chat. So yeah, so let's get into the statistics in Sweden. I'll just wait a little bit before we go into the statistics, so we can get a little bit more viewers on this stream. We are currently 40 guys viewing this stream, so just gonna wait a little bit until we get that number a little bit up before we dive right into the statistics. I don't think enough people have activated the notification. There's a notification bell right here beside the subscribe button. If you click the notification bell, you'll get notifications whenever I do live streams and new videos. If that isn't marked off, then you won't get notifications. So make sure to hit the notification bell, guys. Let me just bring up the statistics here while we wait for some more people to join the stream. Let's see here. Here we go. All right. Okay, let's just jump right into it then. So I recently uploaded, as I said, a video showing that 1 in 8 of all Swedish women will be raped during her lifetime. And as Jessica here points out in the live chat, is that these are only the ones that are reported. That there is a lot of rapes that will not be reported. For reasons, whether I think it's not politically correct or whatever. But the reported rapes in Sweden for 2017, the statistics are in. So the statistics we have for 2017 is that the number of rapes increased with 10% from 2016 to 2017. A 10% increase. So the number of rapes in 2016 in Sweden was 6,720 rapes for 2016. In 2017, that had increased to 7,230 rapes in Sweden. Now, okay, 7,230 rapes in Sweden in 1 year maybe doesn't sound that much, but when you look into the numbers a little bit more in detail, you quickly realize that this is actually a lot worse than you think. So let's dive into that, shall we? All right. So there are 5 million people. There are 10 million people living in Sweden. About 5 million of the people living in Sweden are women. So 5 million women living in Sweden. And if you assume, according to the Swedish statistics, the average lifespan of a Swedish woman is 84 years. So that means if there are 7,230 rapes every year, that means that during a woman's lifetime of 84 years, there will be 607,320 rapes during that lifetime. If there's only 5 million women living in Sweden and 600,000 of them are getting raped, that's a 12% chance of a woman getting raped during a lifetime, or 1 in 8. So 1 in 8 women in Sweden will get raped during her lifetime. That's how bad the statistics is in Sweden. So, I mean, if you go, and the thing is, that is only the reported rapes, and the rapes that are happening right now. If the last years, the trend has kind of been that the rapes have increased quite a bit in Sweden. If you look the last 10 years, from 2007 until 2017, there was a 34% increase in rapes in Sweden. A 34% increase in the last 10 years. So that means if this trend continues with a 34% increase, if that continues for another 20 years, that will mean that there will be 13,000 rapes every year in 20 years' time, which would mean that 22% of all women, or almost a little more than 1 in 5 of all women, will be raped in Sweden in 20 years' time if this trend continues. And I mean, there's already a chance that this is actually the case, because there's all these unreported rapes. These are just the reported rapes we have right now. So, if this keeps getting worse, then, well, if this keeps going on, then it's just going to be worse. And the thing is, what's a really interesting thing that I saw from Sweden today, the ultimate Stockholm syndrome. So get this. A 12-year-old girl was raped by an asylum seeker in Sweden, and the mother refused to report the rape. Why? Well, she is an avid Me Too feminist. The mother is a feminist, and she refused to report the rape of her daughter to the police because she was afraid that the migrant would be deported. This is the ultimate Stockholm syndrome. This is the ultimate cucking. Literally, her own flesh and blood. She ignores it, that she's getting raped, because she's afraid that the migrant will get deported if she reports him to the police. I mean, this is the ultimate Stockholm syndrome, ultimate cucking. It's really an unbelievable story if you think about it. I mean, seriously. And this is supposed to be a feminist who cares about women's rights, supposedly. And she completely ignores the own rape of her own daughter. What if she was raped herself? Would she not report that either? Is that how this works? If you look further back in the trends in the rapes in Sweden, yeah, Licha John Williams in the live chat here asks, 12 years old. Yeah, the girl was 12 years old and she was raped by an asylum seeker. And the mother refused to report the rape to the police because she was afraid that the migrant would be deported if she reported the rape to the police. This is literally how bad the situation is in Sweden with some of these people. If you look further back with the statistics in Sweden, if you look back to 1974, there was only 421 rapes happening in Sweden in 1974. Now, if you fast forward 44 years. If you fast forward 44 years now to 2017, it was 7,230 rapes in 2017. That's what, almost a 2,000% increase in rapes from 1970s to now. That's really a catastrophic increase, if you ask me. It's a absolutely catastrophic increase in rapes. Yeah, and I mean, this really goes to show across the Swedish society, surveys have found that women are afraid to go outside alone at night nowadays. It's up towards almost, it's 35%, something of Swedish women are now afraid to go outside alone in the evening. And in some places like no-go zones in Rinkeby, the statistics are even worse. It's like 50% of the women are afraid to go outside alone. Understandably so. I mean, I would not recommend any woman to go into these places. So yeah, I mean, a big shout out here to Hyperion and live chat. I'm saving you a place on the island, Peter. Thank you so much. Which island are you talking about, Hyperion? I don't know which island you're talking about, but thank you so much for super chat. All super chats will be read live. So if you have any questions or if you want to support my work, use a super chat and they will be read out loud on the live stream. Thank you so much. So if you look at the statistics, then again, if you think about it, from the 1970s until now, there's been almost a 2,000% increase in rapes. How is this not a scandal? How are these politicians still allowed to stay? I mean, why are people still voting for these people? I mean, that's a crisis, you know? It really is a crisis. I mean, you cannot... And if you look at all other statistics as well, you know, with shootings in Sweden, that's been a ridiculous increase as well the last few years. Same for other sorts of crime, bombings, hand grenades, and all of that stuff. You know, if you look at the number of shootings in Sweden, back in 2008, only 8 people were killed in shootings in Sweden. That was 2006. In 2010, it wasn't that bad either. It was 9 people killed in shootings in Sweden in 2010. Now, 2017 has been a radically bad year. 43 people killed in shootings in Sweden in 2017. So it went from 9 till 43. I mean, what's going on? That's a 400% increase of shootings in Sweden in just 7 years. That's, I mean, really, how can I let this go on? You know, these people that are committing these crimes, I mean, they're heavily armed. I was just seeing on the news in Sweden here just the other day. I mean, these people, they have actually found RPGs, grenade launchers, and get this. Now, I just saw yesterday on the Swedish news, one of these guys, presumably a criminal gang member, guess what he had in his basement? I mean, I'll let you guys in the live chat type your answer. What do you think this guy had in his basement? Some kind of weapon. He had some really kind of heavy armed weaponry lying around in his basement. I mean, Sweden is really turning into some kind of ANCAP country at this point. Hyperion says nuclear missile. No, he actually had tank missiles or tank mortars. I think mortar is the correct. They look like missiles, huge things. The kind of the things that you shoot from tanks. It's like a tank mortar or tank missile. He actually had a load of these in crates lying around in his basement. I mean, these people are armed to the teeth. They're only missing tanks and fighter jets now in Sweden, and I mean, it's really turning into real life GTA 5. I mean, they actually have like missiles and mortars now, these guys. I mean, imagine if the army in Sweden tried to get rid of this, tried to clear these guys out. I mean, I kind of have a feeling it wouldn't be too nice. I mean, I don't think these guys would give up willingly. And I mean, the military in Sweden probably have a fight on their hands if they went to try and get these guys out. I mean, Hyperion asks what the army is doing about it. Well, they're not really doing anything because, well, the Swedish government hasn't deployed army, so they don't really do anything. Yeah, I mean, it's really not a big deal. Who doesn't have, you know, random tank mortars and tank shells just lying around in his basement? Like, they were like this big. I mean, they were like huge. I saw some pictures of them, like missile kind of stuff, mortars, tank shells. Who doesn't have that lying around in his basement nowadays? I mean, that's just hand grenades, AK-47s, tank mortars, just missing a tank, and I don't know. And as these people are storing up in Sweden, it's almost kind of you almost think they're trying that they are storing up caches of weapons for a war or something. I don't know. It's insane. Yeah, I mean the situation in Sweden is really it's really sad to see how Sweden is. You know, especially the woman that I talked about earlier, the mother whose 12-year-old daughter was raped by an asylum seeker, and she didn't report it to the police because she was afraid that the asylum seeker would get deported. That's kind of the mentality that I think has just driven Sweden into the ground. That has completely destroyed Sweden. I mean, how can people think this way? How can people act this way? I mean, it's so altruistic beyond belief. I mean, they literally ignore their own flesh and blood, don't care about their own flesh and blood to help some migrant for whatever reason, virtues, signaling points, or whatever. These people are not going. These are not the kind of people that are going to stand up and not tolerate them. You know, getting these heavy military weapons. You know, they're kind of the people that are just going to ignore it and let them have the weapons. You know. Meme Monger asks, "What's your opinion on the 2018 Women's March?" Well, I really don't care about that march. I mean, if they really care about women, they should have talked about the bad situation in Sweden, but they're not. So, yeah, I don't really care about that much. Yeah, people in the live chat are commenting PewDiePie should make a video on this. Yeah, he should. That would be interesting indeed. And yeah, someone in the live chat points out the Swedish military, well, the Swedish government has been handing out leaflets to all of the households in Sweden, 4.7 million households, to warn people what to do in case of war or what to do in case of terrorism. And that's the first time they've done this since the Second World War in Sweden. So that's kind of interesting. And then a couple of days later, the Swedish Prime Minister Stefan Löfven said that they might deploy the military into this no-go zone. So that's kind of interesting. So yeah, I mean, what will happen in Sweden? We really don't know. Yeah, I mean, all of these no-go zones in Sweden are basically areas that have been completely taken over by these criminal gangs, and the Swedish government has lost control. They're really not Sweden anymore. They really belong to someone else. They don't belong to Sweden anymore. So that's it's really sad to see the situation in Sweden. So yeah, I thought I would just do this a little bit a quick live stream. If you have any questions, I'm probably going to wrap this up pretty soon. It's quite late where I am at the moment. So if you have any questions, I'll take a few questions here now in the live chat, and then I think we'll wrap this live stream up. Mac Tavish asks if I'm going to the FLA March. No, I'm not. I am living in Norway now, not the UK anymore. So no. Just looking at your live chat. We don't have any questions yet. No. Why these people welcome with open arms into Sweden? Well, I guess people are feeling altruistic. I guess that's why. How is Norway? Asks RR. Well, Norway is pretty good. I would say Norway is the most conservative and traditional country in the West. For sure, in Western Europe, definitely. PAK asks, why does your government hate white people? Well, I don't know if they hate white people, but they do have other interests other than Swedish interests. So yeah, I mean, they don't really care about Swedish people. That seems quite certain. Um, Johnny asks how these guys are getting these weapons, unless the powers that be are giving them weapons. Well, they're getting these weapons from the Balkans. They're smuggling them in. They're actually quite cheap to buy and apparently quite easy to buy as well, from what I've heard in Sweden. So yeah, it's not the government giving them the weapons, that's for sure. Has there been any feminists complaining about misogyny of migrants in Sweden? Well, not really, not really. Maybe a few right-wingers, perhaps, but not anything special. Yeah, so if you don't have any more questions, guys, I think I'll wrap this live stream up. It's going to be a pretty quick one tonight. I don't have that much time. It's pretty late where I am, and I have quite a few things to do. So if you don't have any more questions, guys, I think I'm going to wrap this live stream up here. It's just going to be a quick one. Yeah, I hope you enjoyed this live stream, guys. I'm going to try and do more of this, so stay tuned for them. And make sure to hit notification bell so you get notifications whenever my live streams go live. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, guys. And apologies for it being a little bit short, but it's quite late where I am. And I just thought I wanted to do a quick one just to get some thoughts out there about the statistics in Sweden. So yeah, thank you so much for watching, guys. And I'll see you later.